Hello everyone, I'm Rajat Chawla, Chief Business Officer at AcoBloom. With October 15 extension deadlines behind us and the new tax season starting in January 2026, the US CPA firms need to be really serious about data security. And the IRS isn't messing around with their new requirements. To address this, we have Mr. Jatin Narang, who is the CEO of Verito Technologies. Verito helps a lot of US CPA firms in private cloud hosting, IT support, and comprehensive cybersecurity. Jatin, will you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having me here, Rajat. It's a pleasure being here. My name is Jatin Narang, founder and CEO of Verito. We do cloud hosting and IT solutions for tax and accounting firms across the US. We cater to all sizes of firms. You can be as small as a solopreneur, or you can be as big as you have 200 employees across the world. So we cater to all of those. And of course, getting them compliant with IRS and FTC. Just like you said, IRS isn't messing around. So they keep coming up with new guidelines and we help them, getting compliant no matter how big or small you are.
Thank you for this introduction, Jatin. I do have a few questions for you.
Sure.
These questions will help a lot of US tax CPA firms to understand the cybersecurity landscape in this new tax season. Now, my first question is, IRS is dead serious about data security. What exactly the CPA firms need to know?
See, when it comes to data security, because again, when it comes to the financial data that these firms are dealing with, whether you're a CPA, you're an EA, you're a bookkeeping firm, you're still dealing with PIIs. You're still dealing with a lot of sensitive information that your clients trust you with. And IRS has to ensure that you are taking all the precautions just to ensure that the data is always secure and safe, whether it is in your computers, whether it is in the cloud server, whether you're transmitting your returns, everywhere it has to be secure. Or there are certain clients that still store the paper files. So no matter the way that you're storing the files, no matter how you're processing the returns, no matter how you're dealing with your firm, the security comes first and foremost. So IRS has always been up for different parameters that they've set. First, there used to be a Security 6, then they came up with IRS Publication 4557, and now they are enforcing the Written Information Security Plan, which every firm needs to do.
Coming to that, what exactly is Written Information Security Plan, and what exactly, the firms need to do so that they are in compliance with, all the guidelines and have that Written Information Security Plan in place?
Great. So if you talk about any other financial firm, like a bank, for an example, or a non-banking corporation, that's still dealing with financial information. So this has been always the case, that they've had an IT guy, they've had a security person, then they had a written information security plan, an incident plan, like what are you doing currently to secure your data, and what would happen in case there is a breach. So it's like you're writing everything down. Now, when it comes to the bookkeepers and the CPA firms and tax firms, IRS made it mandatory for a couple of years now that you also have to have a plan. A lot of people confuse this with just having the document, which is not really the case, right? So document is not going to do anything. Sure. It's what you put inside it. It's what the compliance you have when it comes to the actual policies that you've created in your firm and the actual procedures that you have and the actual action plan that you have. So written information security plan is nothing but including all the information, like you list out where exactly is your data stored, who all have access to it, how are you controlling the access, what would happen if the data is breached, how would you respond to it? So it's like you have a concrete plan of what exactly are you supposed to do and what exactly you're supposed to do if things go wrong way. So a lot of people, IRS has now made it mandatory, like if you're renewing your PTIN, you have to choose that you have a written information security plan.
That's quite important and stringent.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is the most important part and the most basic part now, that you have to have enough security, compliance, backups, everything in place. So a lot of people still know, on a surface level, they think they know what a written information security plan is, but they've yet to implement it.
Good to know, Jatin. And I think it's quite important that everybody in the tax landscape has a WISP.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no skipping it. You can live without a practice management software. You can live without the luxuries of having different automation tools, but you cannot really compromise on security. That's something, there can't be any compromise. It is indispensable, yeah.
So, we have seen in past, and as per my experience, that a lot of US tax CPA firms like to offshore their tax preparation work. Now, this offshoring happens in countries like India, Philippines, and few other countries. Now, if you want to, actually, have an offshore vendor, what exactly in terms of data security you need to ask them that they have or they do not have to actually offshore their tax preparation work to a vendor in another country?
So I think offshoring is inevitable. I mean, this has been going on. I mean, this industry, it is now taking off. But overall, if you talk about offshoring, every firm, every business has to somehow opt for it because, to save cost. It's a competitive, advantage that you would have over others.
Yeah.
And it's pretty easy to scale. Like you don't have to go after hiring people.
It's
you
skills,
can.
It's cost.
There's so many things that go into play.
Yeah.
So ultimately it is, inevitable if you are really looking at scaling, if you're really looking at, hiring and mainly making sure that you're ready for the busy season. But again,
From
with
data security point of view.
with all the things that make your life easy, it could be an inconvenient part when it comes to security as well, because security and convenience always go hand in hand. And there's always an ongoing battle whether you're choosing convenience or over security. Whereas in this line, we cannot really compromise with security. So of course, coming back to your point, whatever vendor you're choosing, whatever, let's say you're hiring a remote employee or a contractor.
It can be a remote employee.
It can be, it can be an individual, it can be a contractor, it can be a proper company. What I would always recommend is, again, in the WISP, it is your duty to actually vet all the clients that you have, all the vendors that you opt, because the kind of procedures they have, IRS is not going to go after them if you have contracted them to handle your data. So it becomes your responsibility. There should be a certain checklist. Like you ask them what exactly is their security protocol that they have inside the office. Who all would have access to my data that I will be sharing with you guys? What kind of credentials I will be sharing with you? What would happen in case I terminate your, contract, like the offshoring contract? Similarly, if you're giving them access, are you ensuring that your data is always on the US side? Like if you're doing cloud hosting, so of course your data is remaining on a US server. Yeah, absolutely. That's where we come into picture. If you have your data that you want to share securely with any of the firms or a contractor outside US, and you want to ensure they have secure access without compromising anything on your data, compliance, and security side.
And so far as I understand that in your private cloud hosting solution, data does not leave the US territory.
Not at all, yeah.
It lives in US.
Absolutely, all the time. There's no way the data goes outside. Of course, when you're giving somebody access, they remotely log into that server, and you can add more security layers, like you can add multi-factor authentication, you can add IP whitelisting. Let's say you have a firm in India that you want to outsource to. You want to make sure that you're only restricting their IP address, the whitelisting their IP address. So if any of the rogue employee try to log into your server, they cannot do that from outside the office.
Any unauthorized person.
Exactly. Any unauthorized access would be blocked right away. So it's not like you're opening an entire country for the access. It's just the intended person that should be getting the access.
Authorized person.
Yeah, exactly.
So I would also like to add, while you're offshoring outside US, then there is something known as 7216 consent, which, every US CPA firm needs to take from their end client.
Right.
This is basically a written consent. And when you take this written consent, it basically says that the client is okay in their data actually being accessed by a non-US citizen sitting outside US.
Right.
And we at AcoBloom have the right knowledge to guide you, to make you compliant with 7216. And in case anybody is interested in understanding or taking any kind of consultancy for 7216, we are very open for this consultancy. You can contact us.
I think that's a very valid point. And I think that's also I would like to add. That's what I tell all the clients all the time. When it comes to the security of your data, do not compromise on price. Don't just look for something that is cheaper.
Yeah.
Don't just look for something that is flashy, that looks good. Always, do your due diligence. Always check whether if you're hiring somebody from outside US or if you're outsourcing to a company, what kind of track record they have. Check with their clients, what has their experience been like, and whether or not they have appropriate, audit reports, they have appropriate
proper data security
infrastructure. Like in India, there's ISO 27001, and there are different protocols that you can ask the provider to give you the audit report that yes, they are in compliance. Because there's only so much you can do when you're sitting in the US and when you hire somebody from the outside.
Yeah.
So, but these documents really help you make sure that you do your due diligence, and it's sort of like working as an insurance.
So it's not going to be only the best deal, it has to be a secured best deal.
Absolutely. I mean, so you know that if you're using a cloud server like Verito, where you're giving secure access, so you know your access is secure. But now, whether or not the company is handling everything appropriately on their end, you can check with the audit report, you can check with their compliance reports. So that way you can completely ensure that there's comprehensive coverage when it comes to sharing the data with somebody who's not in the US.
Coming to this aspect, I think your company also provides comprehensive cybersecurity services. Would you like to tell our viewers more about, those services?
Absolutely. So in today's time, because everything is SaaS-based, so even though majority of tax software are still desktop-based, so you can use cloud hosting for that, because cloud in itself is a completely secure workspace where we take care of security, compliance, backups, 24/7 support. We take care of everything in there. But when you're dealing with companies or when you're dealing with software that's already online, that's already browser-based, so it becomes really difficult to come up with the security protocols. It becomes really difficult when you're dealing with a local IT guy who doesn't know anything about tax and accounting, right? They don't know about IRS. They don't know about WISP. They only know their IT stuff. They can fix things that are broken. They can do the Windows updates. That's all they care about, right? So that's where we specialize in, because we deal specifically with tax and accounting firm compliance. So we know everything, every bit in and out, or what kind of compliance they would need on their local system as well. So what we do is remote monitoring. So we install a software that monitors everything on their system 24/7. Things like Windows updates, software updates, and things like, if there is any drive error or if there is any issues that we encounter, if there is any pattern that we recognize. So there are certain tools that will do that. Then next generation security software. Then there's the backup application. Then there's the FTC audit that we do. Then there's the employee training, because majority of the time, these companies, no matter how good the tool that you're using, it's still the human that's behind that tool, right?
Yes,
so it's still the human that leads to that breach. That's the very common error. So we do employee training, then we have simulated phishing campaigns. Like you can send phishing emails to your employees and see who actually clicks on it.
So these are simulations.
Yeah, so you can create simulations, and you as a business owner would have complete control. You can see, you will have full visibility, like who did the training, where exactly they left it, and if you sent a simulated campaign, did they really click on the link? If they actually click on the link, they go back to the training. That they failed the training.
Yeah.
So there's so much that goes into play when it comes to security, because again, security is not just a security software that a lot of people assume.
Yeah.
It's the comprehensive coverage around everything. So that's what we do. We specialize in that.
So Jatin, what's the deal with FTC safeguard rules? What exactly, firms need to take care about?
Sure. So just like we were discussing about the IRS, making sure the data is always secure for the clients and for the firms.
Frankly, I feel it's another compliance headache.
It is.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because a lot of people still don't realize that FTC can actually enforce this on you, because they think they don't come under FTC's purview.
Yeah.
But that's not right, because it's not really the type of business that you're in, it's the type of data that you're dealing with. Because you're dealing with financial data, FTC states that if you're dealing with any of the financial data of any of the client, you still have to be compliant with FTC safeguards rule. Now, when it comes to the FTC safeguards rule, there are two ways. They've established two different channels how you can get compliant. First is the basic security 6, and you have your written information security plan. But at the same time, if you have more than 5,000 records, now that's where it gets confusing, because a lot of people assume it's 5,000 clients. It's not 5,000 clients, it's 5,000 records. A record can be anything. It could be a bookkeeping record.
That's quite complex.
Yeah, it is. So what I would say, when in doubt, just do the compliance. That's what I always tell
I agree
everyone.
to you.
Yeah, don't just assume you don't have to be compliant, because it's always good to do more compliance. You're always, you will have complete peace of mind. You don't want FTC knocking on your door and then you're realizing, okay, I didn't realize, because they have $100,000 fine if you're not compliant.
That's too much.
Yeah, it is. I mean, a smaller firm would just, they will close
They're
shop.
out of business.
Yeah, they'll close shop.
Yeah.
So with what FTC has done is, if you have more than 5,000 records, then there's more compliance that you have to follow, which is like, you have to do employee training, you have to have a designated security person. In case of a single person firm, you can be a designated security person yourself. It's not like you have to have an independent person. You have to do penetration testing, you have to do FTC audit to ensure all the data, everything that you say is actually protected. So that's what FTC Safeguards Rule says. It went into enforcement June 9th, 2023.
Okay.
A lot of people still do not know much about it. Yeah.
Okay.
So what we at Verito are doing, what I tell all the time when I do a cybersecurity webinar, like how important it is to go for the FTC Safeguards Rule. Just understand what you need to do, just the basic stuff that you can take care of so that you are in compliance. We actually help getting compliant. So it's not like we just help people with the WISP. We will help them get compliance first. We'll help them see where they currently stand, and then we help them get compliant, and we help them with everything else.
Practically, that comes to my, second question, probably my last question to you. Practically, how we can do the gap analysis, how we can help the tax firms or the CPA firms to actually, be compliant with all the IRS and FTC rules, because there will be a lot of tax and CPA firms who do not know about a lot of things, So how, we can identify these gaps, and how, then, we can do remedial action and how help them to comply so they are always compliant.
Absolutely. So what I tell tax firm owners all the time, like, you did not sign up to be an IT person, but that's what you are now.
Right.
That's
there
what
are CPAs.
Yeah, but that's what you have become now, because there are so many compliance to keep up with. So luckily, what we do at Verito is we do an FTC Safeguards audit, where we actually check your complete infrastructure. We show.
In fact, AcoBloom, our company has tied up with you, and we are offering free cybersecurity audit for tax and CPA firms who want to actually get to know about cybersecurity and the risks involved in their current cybersecurity landscape.
Absolutely.
Would you like to tell more about this?
Yeah, definitely.
And it's absolutely free.
Yeah, typically we charge $500 for that, but because of the partnership with AcoBloom, we are offering it for absolutely free. A typical process would be, we will take the remote access of your computer, we will run the security test on your system. It does 126 different checks on your system and your infrastructure, just to see where exactly you currently stand, whether or not you're compliant, where exactly are you lacking, and then we help you get compliant with that. So this test will show you, like, the gap analysis as you spoke about, like where exactly you stand, what exactly needs to be done. And then if they opt for Verito services, we can help them get compliant, fix everything up, do another audit, give them the report which shows everything in green that yes, they are in compliance.
From my, experience, it is better to be compliant than to be sorry. So,
absolutely.
Jatin, it was a pleasure speaking to you, and we look forward towards more such conversations to keep our clients and tax and CPA firms secured and compliant.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure.
Pleasure.
Thank you.